Good afternoon, everyone. This is Reverend Kit Holmes. It is Wednesday. It is October the 25th, 2023, and the wind just kicked up as I started this. It is One Mind Wednesday time, and I am standing out under some beautiful foliage, fall foliage in West Michigan, and on an overcast day, and yet the colors are still incredibly spectacular. And in their various stages of changing colors, just behind me over here, there's some contrast with some, still some green and all the different shapes and colors. I want to talk today about the both and. In Centers for Spiritual Living in the month of October, the theme has been playing with paradox. The paradoxes, I don't know what the plural of paradoxes is. You can look it up and write me and tell me what that is. But it's about the both and. That's what paradox is. It's being able to hold two seemingly opposing thoughts or ideas or beliefs at the same time, or situations or circumstances. And the one that always comes to mind for me is grief and gratitude. It seems like we can't do both, but we can. There are moments where the example I like to use is of a loved one that has been ill for a long time, or a beloved pet, and they move on to their next iteration, and of course we feel grief at the loss, and at the same time we are in gratitude because they're no longer suffering. So it is entirely possible that both can be held at the same time. Something else that came to mind to me is that where I am sometimes when I realize that I am so angry or I'm in such a pity party that I'm laughing at myself about it. So I'm holding both at the same time. So it's possible. The idea is that we don't hang on to these things for very long, or we don't get mired in them. It's about the letting go. In Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul, that's exactly the premise, is we all have emotion, we all have thoughts, and we have thousands of thoughts every day that pass through, that we allow to pass through. And when we get hung up on them or we hang on to them, there is something that we stop the flow, and they can build up, especially those things that we've built up over a lifetime, the beliefs over a lifetime. So the practice is, when we recognize something, we have a feeling, we have a thought, that we remember we have choice as to what we want to do with it. Do we want to stay in it? Do we want to stay in the anger? Do we want to stay in the drama that we may be creating in our heads, or I'm going to get that person because they said that thing to me. We're going to get our retribution or our revenge. It takes a lot of energy to hang on to that stuff. And so the idea is to recognize that we can hold two things at the same time, and that we are always a choice on what we hang on to. That's the simple part of it. And the metaphor, of course, being that probably within the next week, and part of the reason I'm outside with this today is that in the next week these trees will let go of these leaves. They have served their purpose. They have done what they needed to do to soak in the sunlight for the tree to get its nourishment. And now that they are finished with that cycle of life, they're going to be let go. They will turn into mulch that will further fertilize these plants around me, give shelter to animals, etc., 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 and on and on and on it goes. So, both and let it go. I love you all dearly. Thank you for joining me on One Mind Wednesday. I'll see you back here again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and all of these videos are always archived on my YouTube channel, which is in the description of this post. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for all the ways that you send me love. I love you all dearly, and I will see you again next week.